A very good evening and welcome to Prime TV News, coming to you live and direct from the Prime TV studios with me, Abrar Abid. Now, before we go into our stories in detail, let's take a look at our headlines. Those who contributed to the Moragahakanda Kaluganga project are fated. A full bench will hear the case against Hemasiri and Pujit. China gifts a military ship to Sri Lanka. Prime Minister says the new CEO of the Millennium Challenge Corporation is working closely with Sri Lanka. 29 perish in a bus crash in northern India. Now, in our lead story, President Maithripala Sirisena has said that honestly dedicated public officers and professionals to the development process of the country amidst challenges deserve the respect of the nation. The President was speaking at a function organized to a nation. These public officers was organized under the patronage of the President. 400 who made them with much labor to bequeath to the nation. The colors were presented by the engineer, including the Nice Camp officer, director, who was of the President leadership, wiping out the tears of the Kanda multi-point scheme bill, realizing term making a contribution to the national economy. It is larger from a it consists of Western receive many benefits from many regions, such as it also water needs is spent annually, but this is not in addition to new cultivated one is to cover within several years. Investment green gram and goats is being added on the Kaluganga project. A full bench of the Supreme Court is aimed to consider mental rights petition in the court against the General and the former defendant not taking suicide bomb at Easter Sunday. To be taken into consideration on the 12th month before the seminar of judges, Justices Aluvihari, Prasanna and Nando. Decision the petition national significance of the one of the 8 fundamental rights petition has been filed by the father who lost his 2 children in the bomb attack on St. Anthony's Church, Kochikade in Colombo. The petitioner claimed that the respondents had not been successful in taking any action to prevent the bomb explosion despite being apprised by the intelligence unit. A military ship gifted by China arrived in Sri Lanka. It will be part of the Sri Lankan Navy fleet. The ship has been acquired from China to expand Sri Lanka's naval operations. The ship was received according naval traditions. China's ambassador to Sri Lanka, Cheng Xuan, and Commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Pale de Silva, subsequently Commander of the Navy, flanked by senior officers, made an inspection visit on board the ship and supervised the functional and operational aspects of the vessel. The ship is scheduled to receive its auspicious commissioning in the near future. A crew of 18 officers and 92 sailors are performing duties on the ship after the ship is included in the Navy fleet. She will be utilized for patrol and surveillance missions in the deep seas around Sri Lanka. This ship, built in 1994, is 112 meters long and 12.4 in width and bears a displacement capacity of 2,300 tons. The ship will also be used for search and rescue operations to provide security and assistance to naval and fisheries community. In more local news, the one-day service for the issue of national identity cards by the Department of Registration of Persons, Operations and Information Technology Commissioner Harsha Ilukpitia said that applications obtained for the issues of identity cards under the one-day service Thursday and Friday were being processed today. Harsha Ilukpitia said that the one-day service at the Department of Registration of Persons, which came to a temporary halt on Friday, has resumed today. The Department of Registration of Persons He mentioned that accordingly, cards will function as usual. He mentioned that accordingly, applicants who had already made payments during the days on which the services were suspended were able to obtain the NIC under the general service. Meanwhile, the Department for Registration of Persons said that it will end the issue of national identity cards by September for those sitting the GCE ordinary level examination. In more local news, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has directed a massive appointing that Shane Kieran Cross appointed as the new Chief Executive Officer of the Millennium Challenge Corporation in working closely with the Sri Lankan government. The new Chief Executive Officer has said that he would be working very closely with Sri Lanka as it has been selected as a country that benefits from the Millennium Challenge Corporation. The Millennium Challenge Corporation agency would be extending support to minimize issues that impact the Sri Lanka economy with regard to transport and land administration. The proposed funds due to be allocated with respect to the agreement is $480 million. The CEO had also said that he expected to the leadership of the Prime Minister in the future to eliminate poverty, consolidating the welfare of the local community, and also achieve the objectives between Sri Lanka and the United States. And he took oaths as the Chief Executive Officer of the Millennium Challenge Corporation on the 24th of last month. In more local news, leader of the Tamil National Alliance parliamentarian R. Sambandhan has said that the future generation should be given an opportunity, an undivided country that would mete out justice to all. R. Sambandhan was delivering the guest lecture at the commemoration of the 3 decades political life of Finance Minister Mangala Samaravira. A special function was organized to mark the completion of 30 years of the political career of Minister Mangala Samaravira. It was held at the Rabindranath Tagore Memorial Auditorium. The release of the Mangala Samaravira book, which special occasions of the life of Mangala Samaravira, Nihal Jagachandra had authored the book. The keynote address of the 30-year political journey of Mangala Samaravira was delivered by veteran journalist Victor Ivan. Many political representatives, including TNA leader R. Sambandhan, were present. 2,000 Nila Savana offices have been opened with the intention of taking the public service to the village. This has been stated by State Minister J.C. Alavathuala. Joining in the 7th hour program telecast by the Independent Television Media Network, he said that these offices would be kept open notably on 6 days of the week.
නිලසෙවන කාර්යාලත් ලංකාව පුරාම තියෙන ග්‍රාම නිලධාරී කොට්ටාස 14022කට මේ වෙනකොට
State Minister J.C. Alawattuwala mentioned that nearly 2,000 Nila Savana offices have been opened for the 14,000 Grama Niladhari offices located in the island. He said that more such Nila Savana offices had to be established. The two officers of his ministry are the Grama Niladhari and the Development Officer. In addition, there is an agricultural assistant related to the agricultural officer within the village. There is also a Samudi Development Officer. 4 rooms have been set up for all of them. These Nila Savana offices will be kept open on 6 days of the week. As such, one of the 4 officers will remain within the office. The people will receive an unstinted support to get their work done from a government office. He said that they expect to use new technology that is applied in developed countries. Having links with the Nila Savana office, the divisional secretariat, the district secretariat and the ministry, the people on many occasions will be able to get their work done from within the village without going out. This, the State Minister added, was their prime aim. The Colombo Fort Magistrates Court today ordered to postpone until the 15th of this month and the consideration of a petition filed by the former Senior Assistant Secretary of the Defence Ministry Disanayaka Mudiyan Selage Samarsinga Disanayaka seeking the prevention of his arrest with respect to the avant-garde incident. The court ordered 3 persons, including the Director of the Criminal Investigations Department, to appear in court. The Attorney General instructed the Acting Inspector General of Police to file a case against the company, pointing out that it had caused a loss of 11,400 million rupees to the government, maintaining an illegal floating armory. Karpaya Rajendran Abdullah, an employee at a copper factory belonging to one of the Easter Sunday suicide bombers, has been further remanded until the 15th of July. During today's hearing, the Terrorist Investigation Division informed the Chief Magistrates Court that investigations into the suspect were still underway. Accordingly, Chief Magistrate Lanka Jairatna instructed the TID to submit a progress report of the investigations when the case is heard again on the 15th of July. Abdullah was among the 10 employees of a copper factory owned by Shangri-La suicide bomber Ilham Ibrahim, who was arrested in the aftermath of the recent terrorist bombings. Former President's Chief of Staff Kusumadas Mahanama and former State Timber Corporation Chairman P. Disanayaka have been enlarged on bail. The suspects were released on bail after being served with indictments under 24 charges, including the receipt of a bribe of 20 million rupees. The former state officials have been accused of soliciting a 20 million rupee bribe to assist businessmen in acquiring some assets of the Kantale sugar factory. During today's hearing at the Special High Court, each of the suspects were released on a cash bail of 500,000 rupees and 2 surety bails of 1 million rupees each. A travel ban too had been imposed on both suspects. Court ordered the case to be convened on the 22nd of July to determine whether the accused had received the documents pertaining to the case. In more local news, a Laos national has been arrested while attempting to smuggle 2.6 kilos of narcotics into the country. According to the police, Narcotics Bureau apprehended the suspect upon arrival at the Katnaika International Airport this morning. The arrested suspect was a 25-year-old. He was due to be produced before the Nigambo Magistrates Court today. The Police Narcotics Bureau is conducting further investigations. Attempts still continue to extinguish the fire within the Maragala Mountainous Reserve in Monaragala. A Bell 212 helicopter of the Air Force has been deployed for the purpose. The fire has already destroyed more than 500 acres of land. The Maragala Mountainous Reserve is considered as one of the main reserves that supplies water to the Monaragala district. Many rivers such as the Hadaoya, Bilaoya, Kudaoya, Behetgasara and Hulanda Oya begins from the Maragala mountain. Residents said that it is after around 20 years that such a major fire had been witnessed in the Maragala mountain, which is rife with rare herbs. The army has also joined in the operation to douse the fire. Assistant Director of the Disaster Management Unit, Ravindra Kumara, said that it would be possible to extinguish the fire within today. Let's now take a look at the very latest in the business arena. Although Sri Lanka's overall government revenue fell in the first quarter of 2019 as imports slowed down, income tax gains were noticeably higher with a new online collection system and better enforcement. According to the Treasury, income taxes accounted for 18% of total revenue during the January to April period, after value-added tax, which contributed 27%, and excise duty, which brought in 22%. Total revenue from income tax increased by 9.6% to 104 billion rupees in the first 4 months this year from last year, with revenue generated from corporate and non-corporate income tax up 10.2% to 43 billion rupees. Revenue generated from pay as you can earn tax increased by 19.2% to 18 billion rupees. The Treasury in its report said that revenue from income tax increased with the simplification of tax structure, strengthening tax administration and tax audit in line with the new Inland Revenue Act effective from April 2018. And that is a wrap-up of Prime TV News for today. Do join us again tomorrow for the very latest. A very good night and take care.